Okay, so this is row 2. This is this row here. So we're going through this now. Jockey runs today. That is basically how many runs a jockey is actually on today. So some people argue if the jockey's only got one race, then it might, try harder, that kind of thing. I don't know. The same with trainer. They don't normally have more than 10, but how many horses is the trainer running today, or how many times does that trainer's name appear in the race cards today? Another one. So if you're looking for jockeys with one run and trainers with one run, you can just select either of those. It's a range 1 to 1, 1 to 2, as in others. Trainer wins. If you want to see, if you only want to pick trainers that have had at least one win or at least 5 wins or whatever, you can change that, and you can, have it very close so you only pick trainers with 5 wins if you want. I would suggest that you might not get many results from that, or any, I don't know. But that's the kind of ranges you can do, or you can do it by strike rate. That's 1% and that's 100%. So a strike rate of a trainers with a 10% strike rate, and that or 10% to 100%, and that will show only those trainers. So yeah, that's quite a handy one. People kind of like that one. And it's exactly the same with jockeys number of wins and jockey strike rates. So if you want to just find out if there's any jockeys and trainers that might have over 40% strike rate on the day, and you feel that might be quite good. So if we do that and we do that, and that will update and then show you down below if there's any. And today there just doesn't happen to be any particular jockeys and trainers joint with that kind of strike rate, and that will probably happen. It does happen though, as you can see, and they have a 19.25% strike rate, so I don't know. Number of wins is the horse, obviously the number of wins the horse has. So I kind of I limited that to about 30. I need to check the database and see if there's any more, but I think at the time there were no horses in there with 30 or more than 30 wins. Strike rate, again, you can just choose by strike rate horses with a strike rate of at least 5% or 10% or whatever. If you're looking for good horses in particular races, then that's worth doing. Now we come to a couple of ratings. Now these are actually my own ratings, and they're made up of information about the horses. Now people often ask me about my ratings, and I've got this kind of brain that kind of mishmashes everything up, and I go, right, okay, if I put this together and this together and this together, what actually happens? And so I come up with these different ratings based on that. They don't actually mean a lot, apart from you might find if you select a rating from 1 to 50, you might find that you get winners from it, and the same with NS rating. It's exactly the same. You might find that works well. They're just literally combined information about the horses and their runs and stuff like that. Sometimes I might include jockey information, but basically the ratings are made up and then ran on the results and the daily cards to see what the latest ratings are on those horses and that sort of thing. So yeah, you'll find a few ratings in the thing, and some of them are more self-explanatory than others, but this rating here goes back years. I created this 10 years ago and used it in many different systems and methods. So and that the NS rating is a bit newer, but again, it's just something that I've come up with. Jockey list. Again, you can select jockeys, multiple jockeys and stuff like that. Jockeys are really difficult because obviously it's how many jockeys we include, whether those jockeys are still running and that sort of thing, because you might find McCoy in there and things like that. So I'm looking at jockeys at the moment, just because I need to look at it, because it's a bit of a weird list. We get also different names or different ways of naming a jockey from our feeds, and you're tying them up all the time. So if you sometimes see the name, you might see it as Alan Banks or something like that, but actually we get it as A Bank, or A banks. So be careful with that if you're looking for a particular jockey, because it may be slightly differently named in our list. Again, you can use just today's jockeys, or not use particular jockeys, that kind of thing. And the last one is the type of race type. So AW is all weather, chase, national hunt, flat, hurdle, and flat. When I create systems, I tend to make them for particular one race type, because I don't really believe that AW form will work on hurdle and stuff like that. It might, you could argue that AW and flat are the same, but it's very difficult to say they are. So I tend to keep them separate, but that's up to you. You will find systems that will actually work on 2 or 3 of them together. But I would always analyze all systems by one particular race type, and so that might be worth thinking about if you're creating systems. Okay, so that's it for row 2.